And it's here. Ladies and gentlemen, Gotham Knights has received its first major update and patch. This is update 2.00, aka Gotham Knights 2.0. And my goodness, if the old saying goes, under promise and over deliver, that is exactly what Gotham Knights has done. In my opinion, if this is an indication of what's to come for this game, it is going to be totally fine. In spite of some of its stumbling disappointments at launch, I think that this update is a great sign for what we can expect in the future. Fingers crossed, of course. So let's dive on in. What are the major things that this update contains? Well, first and foremost, it of course introduces Heroic Assault. For those that don't know what Heroic Assault is, it is essentially a 4-player co-op mode. But keep in mind, when it is advertised as a 4-player co-op mode, it does not mean that you must have 4 players to play it. It is absolutely perfectly fine to try to make your way through this mode all on your own, or maybe with just 1 friend or 2 friends. It is just set up to 4 players co-op. It has 30 different floors to make your way through. It has new gear along with new transmogs that go on ahead and unlock via rewards for completing these different floors. So essentially, it's a horde mode where you clear out waves and waves of enemies as you make your way up through each one of the floors. There's a little bit of work that you need to do before being able to enter this mode, so you just need to activate the mode itself. But once you've done the mission or the actual activation on the map, you then have it accessible at all times. That could mean you could go on ahead and just pause your game, bring up the mode and dive on in, or you can even dive into the game mode from the very main menu, which is super duper convenient. So if you don't want to actually go into Gotham itself to explore that and you just want to dive right into Heroic Assault, you have that option. Once you're within Heroic Assault, I think they did an excellent job of making everything very convenient. Before you set off onto the floor mission that you want to select, you do have the option to change your hero, change your loadout, use a workbench to build maybe new suits, and make the adjustments that you feel like might be necessary in order to have a successful endeavor within Heroic Assault. Once you're done with that, dive on in and clear out the enemies in a multitude of different ways along with your friends, hopefully completing them successfully. Now, I do want to also go on ahead and clarify, from what I could tell, because I did go on ahead and clear out the very first floor to make sure that I have a good impression of the game mode, to make sure that it works smoothly, which, by the way, it ran flawlessly. No glitches or anything like that on my end. That was very, very cool to see. But the thing is that the floors are locked, meaning that you need to clear floor 1 in order to have access to floor 2, and so on and so forth. So you cannot just go on ahead and dive in and jump right to floor 10 if that's the way that you want to play. The nice thing is that the floors are scaled in difficulty as well. So as you make your way down the floors, you will go on ahead and have a more and more difficult challenge to work your way through. It does also seem like there were a handful of floors that seemed to have something along the lines of Reckoning titling around them. So I'm assuming maybe those are like mini boss fights, or the floors that will require an extra bit of challenge to complete. So we've run through an entire game mode. Remember, 30 floors, a bunch of new items, a bunch of new rewards, a bunch of new challenges for you to complete. And by the way, one of the other things that I loved about the floors is that it's not just the actual fighting that you get to do. In between the fights, you actually have certain little areas that you can explore in order to unlock hidden chests, and those chests will once again reward you with a bunch of stuff. I think that was a really clever implementation because it gives you something else to do besides looking for the actual fighting combat scenarios. Now, with that in mind, as if that wasn't a big enough update, that's not all. They went ahead and also implemented something called Showdown, which I love. I think this is such a clever idea to implement. The villains are back for round number 2. You can now go on ahead and fight supercharged versions of the game's main villains. That would include Mr. Freeze, Harley Quinn, Clayface, and Talia al Ghul. You can now fight them in both solo or 2-player co-op, and they are now the most difficult versions to defeat. So if you found the boss fights to be easy, maybe even a New Game Plus on the hardest difficulty, you can now take on the boss fights again by interacting with their villain trophies within the Belfry. So those villain trophies that were being displayed as you defeated the enemies or the villains throughout the game within the Belfry now actually serve a purpose. I think that's so cool. It shows that they had that idea all along and never even let us into that idea, and now they've implemented it, and I think it is awesome. Not only do you get to fight these new villains, but once again, they will also go on ahead and reward you with brand new transmogs and new gear as rewards. This is so cool. I mean, they never even mentioned the fact that this would be something that would be coming to the game, nor would it be coming with this particular update. So I was super duper happy to see that. And as if those two elements weren't exciting enough for an update, they went ahead and fixed a bunch of things in the game, from small little things like Red Hood's animation on his drawstrings for the hoodie always pointing forward. That has now been patched and fixed, to a bunch of other elements being tackled, like balancing issues, like accessibility problems, like abilities that did not correctly proc or activate as intended, gear drops, graphical adjustments. They went ahead and also addressed some of the rewards and how you would go on ahead and receive those. They went ahead and fixed a bunch of problems that were happening during boss fights. And as if all that wasn't enough, they also went ahead and included a bunch of adjustments to the photo mode, which was already terrific, but they went ahead and added brand new body poses. They added intensity options for many of the filters, so you can actually adjust how much of the filter is actually present on the shot. They went ahead and made adjustments to the light rigs, and they now allow the character to look directly at the camera, adjusting the actual framing of the photo mode as well. This is how you do an update. Truly, 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 I think that, again, I'm one of the people that has fairly criticized the game when it deserved to be criticized, and don't get me wrong, it is not without its criticisms at this point. But my goodness, what an update. This has so much to offer, whether it be the brand new game modes along with a bunch of new rewards and explorer areas that you get to go through, to just addressing a lot of the small little things that a lot of people had problems with, whether it be problems in the boss fights, menus, gear, animations. A lot of that stuff has been addressed with this one update. I cannot go on ahead and praise the team enough. In my opinion, they way over delivered, and I think that honestly they almost did themselves a bit of a disservice here in terms of just how good this update is. I think they killed it, and they should be very proud of the work that they put together for this one. Let me know what you guys think of the first major update for Gotham Knights down in the comment section below. Are you excited about the possibility, if all future updates are at this scale and come out regularly, do you think that this game has a chance to draw you back in? Will you give this game another chance? Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you're like me and you're excited about the update, have fun, enjoy the update, and let me know how well you do on the brand new modes.